This is a video to show the operation of a hydraulic control circuit program for a multiple pump application. It's an energy savings option so that the pumps that are running are controlled by the flow on the floor. The more flow, the more pumps. The lower the demand, the fewer pumps are running. This is the main screen. It shows the customer's logo. They have two separate floors. They can either run the process floor or the fab floor. It's two separate systems tied into a single power unit using 12 pumps, 6 pumps for the process floor, 6 pumps for the fabrication floor. This is the fabrication floor. On this screen they have their run time that the system has been running, their tank temperature, which is a hard-coded number right now of 150 degrees, and when this is attached to the system it will actually be reading the tank temp. Tank level, which is a 0 to 100%, right now is at 65%, another hard-coded number. The line pressure is a live reading, which I have hard-coded at 2,000 just so that I can demonstrate the program. Line flow right now is 0. The 6 pumps, none of which are running. You have the run time on each pump on the screen. You have a circulation pump start-stop and an auto manual switch. Across the bottom you have a main, which takes you back to the previous screen, an alarm page, which gives you the alarms of the process of the pumps and the tank status, the heat exchangers, that gives you those alarms. You can also look at a alarm history and go back to the process floor. You have a trend screen, which gives you your pressure and tank temp and flow trends, plus a tank level trend that you can watch it's a hour trend, 0 to 60 minute trend. There's a pump manual screen, which you will only see if you are in manual and not automatic, in which you can start each pump individually, start and stop each pump individually, and watch the live flow and live pressure readings. Pump info, which gives you the hour time that each pump has been running, plus you can reset the hour count if a pump has been rebuilt or replaced. And on that same screen you can go to the filter information, which gives you how many hours it's been since a filter has been replaced. You can also reset that from this screen once you replace a filter. There's also a alarm built into the program, so that if after a certain number of hours the filter has not been changed or reset, it will give a physical alarm to the maintenance so that they know that the filter needs some attention. Go back to the process floor. We have the process setup screen, which is a password protected screen. You have to enter a password to get in there. This gives you your start time values and the GPM values to start the next pump in line. Start times we're going to take down to 2 seconds, just so that we can watch it all happen a little faster. Alarm time will take to 10. Start value 0 or minimum is 10, maximum is 60. We're going to set the GPM at 60, stop value at its maximum value of 50, and the alarm value at its maximum of 40. And that gives you the values that when one pump starts, this adds it to the actual live flow to give you the start value for the next pump. Right now the entire system is down. The circulation pump has to be started before you can put the system into manual. We'll start that now, and we get a green light confirmation that the circ pump is running. At this time we can change it to auto, which our manual screen disappears and then lets us know we've gone into automatic operation. In approximately 10 seconds pump number 1 will start. Pump number 1 will run the entire time that the system is in automatic. This is so you always have some flow going. These are compensated pumps, so if the demand on the floor is 0, the pump is going to be pumping 0. It's going to be fully compensated. Now I'm going to simulate values into the system so we can see pumps start and stop. So right now I'm going to simulate a live flow demand on the floor of 70 GPM, which means that pump number 1 is doing all it can. Pump number 2 starts to help pump number 1. I'm then going to add, if pump 1 and 2 are both at max flow, we're going to be looking at 140 GPM, which will cause pump number 3 to start. If pump 1, 2, and 3 are all at max flow, Then pump number 4 will start. 210 GPM, pump number 4 should start. And the delay times are set low, so this is all happening fairly quickly. The next value will be 280. Pump number 5 starts. And when we hit 350 GPM demand on the floor, pump number 6 will start in a few seconds. Now, as our demand drops, if our demand goes back down to 280 on the floor, there's no reason to keep running pump number 6, so it will stop. At this time, I'd like to point out, you probably saw these things pop up as I was running it. It shows up the pump start value. It'll shut down. It'll start at 340 GPM. It will shut down at 330.
Okay, so we'll be in order.
And the alarm value is 390 GPM. What that means is if the flow drops below 390 GPM and your pressure drops below a predetermined set point, then in 30 seconds this pump will go into alarm, will give you an alarm condition. The pump will continue to run, but it will show alarm and the next pump in line will start, unless of course it's pump number 6, which there are no other pumps in line. So I'm going to shut down the pumps down to pump number 1, and then I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to cause number 2 to go into alarm, so you can see how that system works. If the demand on the floor goes to 0, the pumps in a few seconds will all turn off, and we're back to the original condition, which shows that pump number 2 will start at 60, shut down below 50, and will alarm if the flow is less than 110. So, now let's take the flow up to 70 GPM, which should start number 2. But let's drop our pressure to 500. So, within a few seconds, pump number 2 should go into alarm, which will give us a flow alarm, and then a few seconds later pump number 3 will start, which takes over for pump number 2, and then pump number 3 in essence becomes the new pump number 2 and pump number 4. If I don't increase the pressure, they will all slowly go into alarm. So I'm going to kick the pressure back up to a value that's above the alarm value, so that we quit going into alarm. As you can see, pumps 2 and 3 are both in alarm. They gave us a flow alarm at the bottom. If we went to the alarm page, we would see that they have both low flow alarms, which you can reset and go to the process floor, and the pumps go back to running condition. The pumps 2 and 3 were still running even though they were in alarm. Pump number 4 then becomes the new pump number 2, 5 the new 3, 6 the new 4, and so on. But now we're just showing enough to keep pumps number 1 and 2 running. So, the fab floor works in exactly the same fashion, except it has its own setup times and values. Because this side runs more cylinders, so it has to happen a little quicker. Start time, they can go from 1 second all the way up to 999 seconds. Start values, they can go from 10 GPM to 60 GPM. And what that is that is the value that is added to the live flow value to give you your start value for the next pump. So if pump number 1 is running at 0 GPM, it should always start at 0 GPM. Pump number 8 will start at whatever GPM is set on the setup. So if you have your start value set at 10, then if you go above 10 GPM, the next pump in line will start. Then your flow value is at 50, your next pump will start at 60 GPM. So if it goes above 60 GPM, the next pump will start. So that's the way that works. Once your system is already running, the circ pump, you can turn the circ pump off. It will not shut down the system. It's a permissive to start, not a permissive to run. If you get any alarms on the circ pump, if the heat exchanger water breaks and you start getting water into the oil, you will shut off the water solenoid, shut down the circ pump to keep from pumping too much water into the oil, and give an alarm on the screen. High temp alarm on the tank will give you an alarm. You also have heat exchanger alarms Your circulation pump can trip an alarm. This has 12 soft starters tied into it, that each soft starters can give you a trip alarm to show up. So, as you can see, each pump turns green as it runs. There's also, I already showed you the manual screen. That should be it. Thank you.